As we set out on a new year, plenty of policy changes in the last year will be in effect. How might they affect you? Joining us to look at your financial plans amid shifts in federal policies and global dynamics is Rod D. Martin, the founder and CEO of Martin Capital. Rod, Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Happy New Year to you, too.
Yeah, let's get started with what looks to be a big year ahead. Congress made several big moves in 2025 that could impact people's wallets. What would you say is the biggest change that an average middle-class family needs to understand, and why?
Well, the biggest changes that will affect people at home in their pocketbooks, of course, are the tax cuts and the regulatory cuts. And the latter doesn't make as much sense to people. They don't really know how all that works. That's okay. If you require things of businesses that cost them money, that gets passed along to the consumer. So when Donald Trump comes through this year, along with Congress in part, and repeals 22 regulations for every one new one, it's actually an extraordinary burden being lifted off the economy. Couple that with the tax cuts, and it is the biggest tax cut bill ever passed in American history. And you end up with real change for regular Americans. And the most interesting is on things like Social Security benefits, taxes on tips, taxes on overtime that are all going away. That's real change for the people who need it most. And it'll also generate a tremendous amount of new business activity that increases the number of jobs and increases the pay that they make.
Yeah, great points you made there, covering quite a large span, as almost everybody will feel it in some way or other. Is there anyone that you think really isn't going to be touched by these changes?
I really don't think so. I mean, this is really broad based. This will help everyone from the tall to the small. And the taxes on tips thing is the best example. That directly helps working teenagers trying to save for college or help take care of their family. And, Social Security recipients who already paid taxes on that money, they shouldn't be paying taxes on it again, which is just horrifying. And Donald Trump has fixed that. So we're really, really pleased with where this is going, but we're especially pleased with this in tandem with the 17, $18 trillion in new investment that Trump has recruited from foreign countries into the United States. That's really going to take off this year. That's going to be a really big deal by the middle of the year, say June or July. I think it'll affect the midterms. It certainly should, but that's not really the goal. The goal is to make America great again. And you do that by rebuilding American manufacturing, bringing technology back home, doing things to bring good jobs to working Americans.
And right there, retirees, students, others just starting out, so many different people here, as we've been saying. But let's take a look at job prospects, the impacts there, maybe energy bills, small businesses, other ways that people might feel the impact.
Well, energy is going to be fantastic, and it already is. In most states, your gasoline prices are down a lot, heating oil prices are down a lot. That's only going to increase. And it is true that there may be a little disruption from dealing with the shadow fleet, but not so much in America. We're the world's largest natural gas producer. We are now the world's largest oil producer. We're effectively self-sufficient in these things, even if we choose to buy some foreign oil. So we have an opportunity to really bring down prices, and it affects everybody. It's not just the gasoline in your car. The truck that brings you your Amazon deliveries has to buy that stuff too, and it runs up the price of everything. So as we dramatically increase the amount of offshore drilling, as you see this fourth fracking revolution that is unfolding in West Texas, thanks to the engineers at ExxonMobil. As you see all these things develop and the infrastructure to transport it as well, you're going to see ripple effects through the entire economy that make cost of living significantly better within 6 to 9 months.
And what specific markers would you be looking for? Just the cost of everyday prices, or is there more that you would be keeping your eye on?
Well, again, new jobs is a big deal. But another big deal that has to be remembered from this past year is Donald Trump shut off the flow of illegal aliens, absolutely shut down the border, which is remarkable. And no, the world didn't end. And no, you didn't need a new comprehensive immigration bill to make it happen. You just needed to enforce the law. So everything the Biden team told us about that was just a lie. Okay, what does that do? Well, already we have 2.5 million illegal immigrants who have left the country, about 500,000 of them involuntarily, about 2 million through self deportation. And what that does is it frees up housing. It brings down the price of housing, and it also transfers jobs to Americans who need them at a crucial time. So in every direction, we're seeing real progress. And some of that is coming through increased defense spending and increased border enforcement spending. ICE now has a larger budget than the entire Russian military. We're almost hitting $1 trillion in defense spending. That's going to increase as we start protecting Americans instead of everybody else in the world. Not that we're pulling back from the world. That's not really true. But as we deploy Golden Dome, which will effectively render nuclear weapons obsolete, as we start spending all this money here to develop weapon systems that defend our allies like Taiwan, like Japan, like Israel, like Great Britain, as we do that, again, great new American jobs at all levels, from blue collar to the C-suite.
A rich picture you're painting here, so many varied parts, but it's all looking pretty good, I've got to say. Thank you so much for your time and your perspective here today. Rod Martin from Martin Capital, great to speak with you, and once again, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.